So really the purpose of this call today is really to come together, share some thoughts and emotions of kind of what's going on with everyone's individual circumstances, and see what we can do to collectively positively impact our communities. So since we do have a good number of people on here, I'm going to be timing the everyone speaking portions, just so everyone, if you like, has an opportunity to speak. So Jared and I spoke earlier and have a little framework for the meeting. So we'll first start with kind of an intro round, just 3 minutes, and I'll be given a timer for you to, brief intro of who you are, and then just kind of your general thoughts on this coronavirus stuff and how you've been affected. So I can go ahead and kick us off. I'll go ahead and start my 3-minute timer here. And how's it going, Mike?
Good. How are you, bro?
Good. Thanks for coming on today. I'll go ahead with my timed portion. For those of you just getting on the call, we're going to do everybody do a 3-minute round. If you would like, you don't have to. You can say pass if you'd like. Just an intro and general thoughts and how you've been affected. So I'm going first. Starting my timer now. Again, Ali Abugalam, co-host with Jared of the On Purpose podcast, and I think that this is a very interesting time. I don't know if you guys can hear that feedback, but if you guys could hit mute, that would be great until you're up to talk.
I muted them for you, my man. I muted them.
Thank you.
The power of the mute finger.
There you go. Thanks, man. So my timer is going. I'm going to be quick about this. I think that this is an opportunity for the world to cleanse, to come together. Courtney, actually on the call, my lovely lady here, informed me that today is the spring equinox, and I don't think it's any coincidence that the entire world is exactly 50-50 with light and dark. There's a lot of dark, scary things happening out there. Make no mistake, there's people dying. There's an economic crash, people losing their jobs, losing their livelihoods. There's a lot of scary stuff happening, but on the contrary, there's a lot of beautiful things happening as well. China's seeing the least air pollution in history, and Italy, which is going through their shutdown, all this absence of pollution is clearing out their canals, dolphins on the coast, all these beautiful things happening. So I think that, this 50-50 circumstance right now, us as leaders in our community, we really have an option to choose how we would like to respond. We can respond fearfully and, hoard toilet paper, hoard whatever it is, or we can respond with hope and make this an opportunity for us to go inward, to learn, to grow. And that's what I'm viewing it as and making it as an opportunity for me. Thankfully, I have not been severely impacted, specifically with my business is primarily online. And the only way really is Colorado. For those of you not in Colorado, we've shut down restaurants, all gyms, all bars. So it's pretty dead in our state. But again, it's an opportunity to come inward, get on like this. With me not having too many needs right now, I would like to just offer, moral support. Any business owners out there, I know of some Small Business Administration, SBA relief loans. You can reach out to me for that. And I'd like to just be here to not only support our local community, but support each other here with the On Purpose community. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I have about 10 seconds left. So after this 3-minute round, we will also have some open discussion. So there is my timer, and we can go ahead and have the next person up for 3 minutes.
Ryan, you want to go with us? You want to share how things are on the East Coast, brother?
Yeah, let's roll. I was sitting there hoping I wasn't going to have to go next.
Dude, don't ever hope that, man. You put that in the universe and bam.
Yeah, so basically I'm still in law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement for 18 years. I've been working for the last 3 years growing a financial services business. outside. So I've done so much personal development, just mindset stuff over the last few years that luckily, as soon as all of this stuff happened, you start to get nervous about, family and what's going to happen and stuff. And then, I've done enough mindset stuff and everything to just know, all right, take a deep breath, and decide who do I want to be during all of this? Do I like you just said, Ali, do I want to be the guy going and hoarding toilet paper and running to the gun store, stocking up rounds and all of that stuff? Or, so from the very beginning, I took a deep breath. I said, all right, I'm going to make an opportunity out of this to step up and be a leader in my community, whether it's in law enforcement and in my financial services business and everything. So, a big thing at first, I kind of got sucked back into the, strictly law enforcement mentality. I was like, all right, I gotta make sure my family's safe, keep my family safe, focus on what we're going to do at work and everything. And, just trying to think, okay, how in this time can I be of service in the financial services industry as well, especially focus on working with first responders, police, fire, nurses and stuff like that. And all of them are focused on the same thing. They're being back into protector mode and service mode and doing what we need to do in the community as far as public safety. So, trying to figure out a way that I can be of service to them in both realms with everything that's going on. So, my business was pretty, it's always been strictly a face-to-face business, but luckily my company is starting to, we're setting up a Zoom platform so that we can do presentations, applications and everything through the Zoom platform and everything, which, ultimately when I looked at it that way, I said, that's opening up a whole new opportunity to be able to grow the business outside of my immediate area and be able to reach out and help people even beyond that circle. But really right now, just trying to, think of how I can reach out to and help all first responders, whether it's just getting through and, doing what we got to do to get through all of the nonsense and crap that could be going on, make sure they're prepared that way. And also, still continuing to build and help them financially and not letting them lose focus of those goals as well.
Awesome, Ryan. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, about 15 seconds left on that. So good job. Also want to just add, we really want everybody to share needs. And, if you do have any needs, struggles right now that potentially someone else in the group could help with, or maybe some excess, some information or anything that you can provide that may be able to help. So again, my business is really tied to the small business community here with Small Business Development Center and the Fort Collins Chamber of Commerce. So local Colorado business owners, if your businesses are struggling, I can refer you to some loan programs that are helping. But thanks again, Ryan. Really appreciate you sharing. Let's go ahead and move on to Mr. Mike.
Everybody here. I appreciate y'all taking the time to do this today. I am currently in a state where I'm constantly responding to emergencies, and I need to be able to be there for the community around me as a maintenance technician of about 37 different commercial properties around Fort Collins. And outside of that, I teach yoga as a creative output, but also something to serve the community around me and utilize different musical instruments that I have to bring people into a state of peace and sound. And yoga and sound has been a deep connection for me since I began that career path, and it's helped me be there for other people. And during this time, I feel like those skills are just as important as me going around and responding to different emergencies that are at people's buildings as well. And so coming to my ability to express myself to the community around me and tell people different things that I've learned from just focusing on the breath and coming into the scientific union of your body through the breath and through its different abilities of postures can truly illuminate you into understanding your emotional state of being and giving your mental state of being as well a little bit of time to respirate and come to the breath and stop the monkey mind that is constantly bringing people to a state of worry in our world today. And so I'm not sure where I'm at with time right now because I'm just driving back to my house, but I want to say that if anybody ever needs someone to speak to about some philosophy-based consciousness or meditation techniques or anything that will help you to come into a state of peace, I'm always here to be reached out to. I'm on Facebook actively as Mike Redhawk, and so that is something that I'm very passionate about sharing with the world right now.
Mike, thanks for sharing your social tag as well, and make sure people can connect with you outside of here later. We appreciate you doing that, man. Drive safe. Good job multitasking there. Little podcast and driving. Very cool.
I learned it from Ali.
I seen Ali drive. I know you didn't learn it from him. Very cool, Mike. Hey, brother, I'm gonna put you back on mute because you got some background while we move on.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate you being here. All right, my friend Cole, man. Let's. How's Cole doing? And what can we do to help you as well, my friend?
Yeah. My name's Cole Zempel. I'm on my 10th year in law enforcement now, here in Fort Collins. So that's been very different. I've been in the school resource officer spot it's my 2nd year, and it's not looking like there's a good chance of us going back to school. So kind of flips what I've been doing, kind of upside down almost, because I enjoy working with the kids a lot more than I do adults sometimes. But then outside of that, probably even bigger impact is I'm a wrestling coach at Grit Athletics here in Fort Collins as well. And obviously we are totally shut down as well. And then on top of Corona, we're also in the middle of a building flux, trying to find a new space for our place. There's a chance we could still stay where we're at, but that wasn't looking good as a couple of days ago, as that kind of goes buying big buildings like that. So a lot of uncertainty, but I think I kind of realized this in the last, even kind of before this started, because with the whole COVID thing, I at first wasn't paying attention like most Americans, I think, and then once it kind of hit here, then I started paying obviously a lot more attention, and I kind of had a moment of not panic, but just like excitement around it and what it could do to us. And I think some of the things that I was talking about are happening now, especially with the schools shutting down, and just within the schools, there's a lot more panic around it. Teachers are talking about whether or not they're going to get paid for this time off. And so just trying to be a support for some of those people. And then I've actually already taken the spring break, got some stuff done at the house that we're supposed to do. And then I had started a nutrition certification class, probably, I don't know, I started it late last summer, was hoping to have it done this fall, which didn't quite happen. But I'm on the last chapter today. So hoping to finish that up and kind of add another piece to my coaching. I think, with wrestling or whether it's in law, helping first responders kind of thing, I think there's some different angles I can work with that with. And so I'm kind of excited about that, to finally finish that up. And I've got some ideas brewing that I think could be beneficial for our athletes.
Thanks for sharing, Cole. I really appreciate you being on the call today. And that's, as a wrestler myself, very important sport. You have a really important job, really shaping our youth. So thanks a lot. Feel free to share on the chat any of your social tags. And I know that we actually have another coach on the call from Texas. So Cam, if you would like to share, please go ahead, unmute yourself, and I'll get your 3 minutes going.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm Cameron Eller. I live in Boerne, Texas, and I coach at Spring Branch Middle School in Bulverde. And if you hear any loud noises, I'm at home with this one right now, which has been really nice. Like Cole said, school is really up in the air right now. And just like Cole too, it's, working with adults, I've done that most of my life, and that can be incredibly frustrating. But working with kids it's not an easy task, but it's incredibly rewarding. And first couple of days off, it was kind of nice to have some extra breathing time. But now it's starting to get more difficult. Not being with the kids. And also, Cole, just want to thank you for what you do. I know resource officers are so important to bridging that gap between youth and the police as far as that awareness. So thank you for what you do. But yeah, so I've known Ali since I was, 20, something like that. We met at Texas Tech, and yeah, I'm just down here trying to do everything I can to stay level-headed, not trying to take it too lightly, while also making sure that I'm amply prepared without, like Ali was saying, running out and freaking out and causing more of a problem than there already is. But staying positive, feeling blessed to have extra time at home with my family, just trying to look at the bright things, look at the silver linings, keep those things in perspective. And I think that's going to be the key to getting through this whole thing, is just staying positive, loving your neighbor, just being there for anybody that you can. So, yeah, just down here holding it out. And thank you all so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Is there anything we can do for you and the family, Cam?
The one benefit, like I said, to being a teacher for now is I'm paid with leave. So right now we're good, just hunkering down, and I got more daddy daycare time than usual, which is awesome. But yeah, no, I appreciate you asking, Jared. But yeah, we're doing really well. I appreciate it.
Cool. And that's one of the big things that we're blessed with this community, is where somebody's short, others will have excess. And what I'd encourage all of us to do is not be too proud to ask for that help. And I think I'll share kind of what I'm going through here in a minute, but that's something that I think hinders a lot of people, is when they are in a time of need, they don't want to reach out. And I want to make sure in our communities we're comfortable reaching out, and which kind of segues me to the next person we'd like to hear from, because she's fantastic at reaching out to people, and I'm kind of excited to hear what she's been dealing with today. So Courtney, you ready to share with us?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Courtney Bowman. I live at an intentional spiritual community in Colorado, so I'm in Loveland. And yeah, up until today, it's been a little bit more separate from me. And, I've been watching what's been happening, but I've just kind of gotten a couple updates in the last few hours of it being a little closer to me than I had previously thought. I mean, I figured there's 100 of us that live here, so at some point it was going to get here. But we have 2 potential confirmed, like they're at the ER right now, 2 people who have all the symptoms, which is pretty intense because one of them works in the kitchen here. So been serving out our food. And, we've been on lockdown. We haven't been eating together. We've been, delivering meals. And I'm definitely the kind of person that when anybody asks for help, I'm there. So even tonight it was like, hey, we need you. And I, ran down, helped, handed out all the food. And after it was like, shit, I'm definitely like putting myself more into the possibility of having that. But I've also been a teacher for over 10 years. So I feel like my immune system's pretty high. And, even if I get it, I feel 100% confident that I'll be able to just kind of work through it. But yeah, I also talked to the headmaster at this school that I have and I work for down in Ghana, and they have a few confirmed cases in the refugee camp. So that's going to spread like wildfire because they don't have care down there. They don't have their basic needs met. They don't have access to the things that we do here. So that definitely scares me and saddens me in a way that probably more so than anything could have around this, because I really dearly care about those kids. And yeah, so just kind of holding space. That's definitely what it feels like for me right now, is just holding space, staying steady with what is real and what is accurate, and just trying to keep people looking at the positive, because there, I feel like we've been in a roundabout way asking for a lot of these things. Parents have been asking for an opportunity to spend more time with their kids. If people have been wanting more vacations, like coming back to the earth, spending time at home, having time to do yoga, meditate, and all these things, like we've been asking for this, and it came in a kind of a twisted way, not how we expected it, but we're being given some of the things we were wanting. So how about we, just take the opportunity to be thankful. Parents do get to stay home with their kids now and spend time with their families, and start focusing in on things that are really matter to them more than just being so busy with work. So I think that there's an opportunity here for us to just really look at what matters and pay attention to that and focus in on that. And with that, to do our best to not be judgmental, because I know when fear comes in, that's kind of the path that you take. And so the people who are hoarding and who are moving into that fearful state, I feel like need the most love out of all of us. So instead of, placing judgment upon everybody, we can just really do our best to support and care and encourage each other to just really stay focused on what matters and what's real in all of this. So yeah, I think.
Is there anything that we can do to support you guys? Support you?
Not in like a physical sense, but I wouldn't mind some loving surround for my students in Ghana and the people there. So I'm a very, very much believe in energetics and all of that. So send some love and some healing energies their way. I'd appreciate it.
Definitely. Well, thanks for hopping on the call today. I know that you have so much to offer the world, and glad that you were able to share your message here, and all the work that you're doing in the world is fantastic, and hope to see you really sharing your light even more on in the digital world since we're in. So we'll hop on next. If you would like to share, Jilly Bean, would you like to get your 3 minutes, add your 2 cents?
Let me unmute. There we are. I like to talk. I'm going to take my 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Jared's little sister, Jill, and I'm the one that when they say, oh, Jill will fix that on the podcast, that's me. Sometimes I can fix it, sometimes I can't. I'm coming from Idaho. It's been pretty chill here. I put myself in a bit of isolation because I'm not trying to harm anybody, and if I can stay home and keep anybody safe, I'm going to do that. It's been pretty much business as usual, just trying to figure out how to market. I work for, in addition to Jared and Ali, I work for a real estate company, and we buy houses company, and nobody trying to sell nothing right now. So figured out a way to basically ride or weather the storm, and then once this thing breaks, 3-6 months, whatever it may be, Dan and I are going to be ready, and we're going to have our marketing and everything in place so that we take over from that point, hopefully. We're looking 3 to 6 months down the road in our marketing plan, and kind of hoping for the best and going to see what sticks. And it's a good chance to learn something new, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to come on and say hello to everyone. And meet some other people in the community. That's it.
Yeah, she's my sister, but clearly I got the gift of using all 3 minutes. I must have been stealing part of her 3 minutes her whole life. So she's used to like a minute and a half.
It felt like 5.
It was good. Hey, so I'll share, man. Like, Ali and I talked about, like, should we ask everybody what they think the purpose of this is? And I was a little skeptical of throwing that question out because I don't want to go down rabbit holes of this political party or that. I don't want all that because that's beyond our control, and that's not really what this community can fix. But I do feel strongly that there is a purpose, and I'm struggling to figure it out for me. But I think it's a humble. I think Courtney talked about it, and I think Ali talked about it, and that is maybe we all got a little too big for what we thought we were, right? We weren't taking care of the earth. We weren't taking care of our relationships. And I come back to a couple things, and that's for the law enforcement guys and maybe even the teachers. When you go through something like this and you're guaranteed pay and you're guaranteed benefits, it's different, right? Like as a policeman, I went through 9/11, I went through Columbine, I went through the Depression, I went through the collapse in the late 90s, and I never went on calls wondering if their behavior was because they didn't know where their next meal was or their next paycheck or because their business closed. And you know, and I think I look back and I wonder how many people did I cross in those times that were like me. They had given up a lot to pursue dreams, and then terrorists attacked, which was no fault of their own, right? No fault of their own, but maybe their dream collapsed in front of them. So I do agree with Courtney that I would love our community to move forward with grace and to realize that people may not be acting like themselves, and it's not, maybe it's not even fear. Maybe it's just realization that they rolled the dice on themselves and now it's not working out, right? Or that something beyond their control has changed the pressure on their family. So it's funny because when I first made this leap last year, I made mistakes in business and I assumed that I can control the market, and I did marketing mistakes. And I was like, okay, I got this figured out. Year 2 is going to be a big year. And for those of you guys that don't know, like me and my family aren't together because when this happened, I was like, man, this is bull. I don't believe this. It's not that big a deal. We're going to live our lives. And me and my son went to Montana to teach law enforcement. My wife and my youngest daughter went to Arizona to look at college. And then all of a sudden it becomes a big deal. And now we're quarantined in different states, and my wife's in a hotel with 3 other people, and I'm in Montana, and then all of a sudden all my classes get canceled. And now we look at a totally different financial 2020 than we had planned. And then while I'm up there, we get news that the gym has to close. And now, like literally everything I have built through no fault of our own, right? We're doing what we're supposed to do. We're empowering people. We're building communities, and we're doing the right things. But I don't control this virus. I don't control the responses. But literally everything we had set up is taken away from us. And I don't think, for me, that I ever understood that for people. So I don't think that I had served people with enough grace to look beyond the fact that they were a call that I had to go to, or they were a child acting out in a class, or a family that was fighting over toothpaste, which seemed so stupid to me at the time. Yet now that I went from the complete security to complete insecure side of things, I just wonder, for me, if this purpose wasn't to force me to reflect on how maybe I hadn't done right things in the past, and how no matter what you plan for, what you prepare, you are small, and that it's groups like this that are truly important. It's your communities that are truly important, because they build you up, and we're all going to come out of this. Don't get me wrong. Like I have no plans of getting defeated here. By no means. Don't make any mistake. I will not lose, but I will come out a different person. And I think we all should do that.
Definitely. Thanks for sharing that vulnerable and powerful insight there, Jared. I think that you're absolutely right. This is an opportunity for us to really go inward. And I know the second piece that we had for this was just a 2-minute round. I think this time we can start with you, Jared, since you ended us. Of a 2-minute, your major takeaway. You know, I know that this is early, but with you just sharing kind of how you've been affected and your thoughts around the situation. Please start us off with 2 minutes on what is going to be your major takeaway from this.
Man, I have a couple. One is I'll never split my family up for an outbreak again. I learned my lesson there. If somebody says a virus is coming, I'll take their word for it, and we'll stay together, because having my family split apart is not good. And then second is there's times like these where you truly find out who you are. Are we going to be the people to sit back and complain and blame this person and that person and take no responsibility, or are we going to be the people that step up and lead those around us? And that's what we're going to do. You know, if we're in this community, we're going to step out and be those that others can lean on. And I think historically we'll look back, and I want to make sure when we do look back that our grandkids, our kids, and our families are proud of our actions, and that we were there for others.
Thanks, Jared. Yeah, I know that this that's a great example. One thing that this emergency is going to do is really make us realize what is truly important. And you just showed us right there that family, the people that we love, that we most care about, it is almost every single time going to be the first thing that comes to mind as what's most important. So thanks for sharing. I know we had the KFKAWI on the call. Would she like to speak? All right, we can go to, let's circle back over to Mike. Mike, please, let's throw up 2 minutes and share with us what's your biggest takeaway from this situation.
What's my biggest what?
Your biggest takeaway from what's going on.
My biggest takeaway is that we're talking about a metamorphosis within the earth. And right now we are in the chrysalis. And for us to become a butterfly, we need to do things like this, where we're actually utilizing social media in a conscious way that elements a community and brings us together and allows us to not fear each other or feel like there isn't a state of humanity within each other, or like our words and feelings and emotions and state of being is not important. And the deeper we come out of this chrysalis, what my prayers are is that we come into a state of being more willing to listen to each other and more willing to care about other people's needs and more willing to take the time to hear each other's story. I come from a single mother, and my lifestyle as a kid was very based on trying to make sure she was okay. And so I was very blessed to be compassionate enough to think about the people around me and be willing to do things to help others. And I hope that the rest of the world learns how to create an unfolding of that being a fad, of it being a type of thing that is cool to take care of yourself, to practice yoga, to meditate, to come into other practices, whether it be physical education or different types of positive things that people learn from getting out into a library and cracking open a book. As we get more into sharing things that we all are passionate about, I think that we all grow, and it makes each different person's lecture change each different person's life. And it's always something valuable that makes it to where we're all bringing out the teacher in ourselves and sharing it with each other in a way that's collective, so that we all don't feel so separate anymore.
Thank you, Mike. That was 2 minutes there. Compassion is definitely huge. We're going to keep it moving just so everyone gets an opportunity to speak. And at the end, we're just going to have a couple minutes for Q&A. So thanks, Mike. Let's go ahead and circle back around to Ryan. Biggest takeaway, Ryan?
I mean, especially, I mean, Jared, there's so many things that, you know, you say, whether it's been in your book, whether it's been on your podcast and everything. And I mean, I feel like you are talking to me. And, you know, just what you said about, you know, all the times that you may have crossed people that, you know, they had things going on, but we were there to solve a problem, and we didn't listen to what the underlying problem was. You know, we go to a house for a domestic. We're not thinking about, well, this guy might not be able, it might be trying to figure out how to put food on the table for his family right now. But I go in there trying, you know, solving the problem of why him and his wife were fighting and not looking at the underlying problem. And I mean, that's something even, you know, with your podcast with Dan, it was like just my, you know, realizing what I need to listen to, just, you know, not telling people to calm down, saying, you know, using the example of, you know, okay, you seem nervous, you seem upset, what's going on? Tell me, you know, just focusing on my listening to figure out what the problem is so that I can figure out how I can be of service to them, especially whether that on calls, you know, and I think especially going forward into whatever might start to happen if things, you know, get a little crazy over the next few weeks, you know, just having that mindset of, okay, you know, realize what these people could be struggling with, you know, whether it's fear, whether it's, you know, uncertainty, whether it's a lack of money, and, you know, just think about those underlying problems and, you know, try and be empathetic to the people in those ways. It's something, you know, I've been working on that, and I think that's just a good wake up call for me to, you know, really focus on that in these weeks coming up and serve people in any way that I can.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I think, you know, you guys, you've, you know, our first responders are some of the only people that are allowed to leave their houses in many places around the nation now. So that little bit of interaction you guys have with them and the words you choose and the empathy you choose to show or not show could honestly make or break how somebody deals with this whole experience. So I love that you're thinking of serving others. And yeah, man, it's historical times, you know, like none of us hopefully will ever go through this again. So I appreciate you looking inward on that, Ryan, and definitely keeping us up to date on how things go on the East Coast there. Good. Courtney, what are you going to take away from this?
Let's see. Definitely learned that I touch my face a lot. I looked that statistic up. 500 times a day on average, a person touches their face. So even like watching, I've been like super aware of like everyone, like, and myself. That's not my major takeaway, but I think something that really set in for me today was just recognizing that it's not about me. You know, there's been like, I've had that mindset of like, my immunity's been great, you know, if anything happens to me, I'll be fine. But I live in a community with a bunch of elders, and some of them do have some of these, you know, sicknesses and things going on that makes them a higher risk for this. And so really checking in with myself today of like, it's not about me. Like, I really just got to do what's being asked of me because of the people around me and the people I'm going to come in contact with, and to just kind of get over myself a little bit and do what needs to be done to keep the people I care about safe. But I had a couple conversations today where people kept saying, well, it'll return to normal soon. You know, things will return to normal soon. And honestly, I'm like, I don't want it to return to normal. I feel like the way we were living wasn't accurate and it wasn't correct. And so maybe it can return to normal as in like normal of what normal's really meant to be. But I don't want to go back to the way we were living. So I just really hope that we really learn from this and take an opportunity to really step fully into what we're wanting to create and who we want to be and how we want to be in our world. And that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I agree. I don't think any of us should have the goal to go back to what we used to be. That seems counterintuitive, right? That means we wouldn't have learned lessons, we wouldn't have made changes, and then why would we expect it not to happen again? So I'm with you, Courtney. How many, who's been the most guilty face toucher on here since you've been counting? No, come on, I want to know.
Ollie.
Ah! Well, that's because his face is naked now. He's getting used to it.
Well, and like he's like been itching his eyes and like put his hands on his face like that. But me too. I've been trying to go on my sweater.
Very cool. I appreciate you, BR. You bring some very good insights and wisdom, young lady. Thank you. Cole, what are you going to take away from this, brother? First off, let me tell you what I think you should take away from this is there's plenty of room for my Airstream to park on your compound and hook up to your electric in the future if I need it. That's my takeaway for you.
Yeah, we still got to work on getting some electricity out to the pole building, but that's another issue. But no, I kind of got a two-part deal. I can't remember if it was your post on LinkedIn or if it was the On Purpose podcast one, but I commented that my wife she went out and found eggs somewhere finally and took them over to another family that she's that we're connected with, and and I've kind of had this thought or want or desire. I grew up in a small town in Iowa, just different there, right? Like there's just a little more like of a family feel, even though it's not family. And I've kind of envisioned us going back to that, right? Like lots of people are moving to big cities and doing this, and it's all pushing, like we have pushed that way for a while. And even in Iowa now it's happening, right? Like everyone's moving to Des Moines, moving to the capital. And I hope this brings us back to like wanting to be engaged in our communities. And maybe that doesn't mean we live in small towns, but like I live out in the country, but we live on a dead end road, and there's probably, I don't know, maybe 20 houses, 10 on each side of the road. And just like to see more engagement in the community like that. And, and I think it gives us the opportunity to go check on our neighbors and see if they need something, especially the elderly folks. And so that's one piece that I hope that kind of comes from all this. That's a big piece for me. And like I said, something that I've wanted to happen for a long time. So maybe my wishing got us the corona. I don't know. But the second piece is, so like today I just found out that I'll be going back to patrol or work in the streets, so to speak. And, and I had different feelings about that. I was kind of like, oh man, I got to go back to taking calls from people and blah, blah, blah. But I hear that. I hear the beeping. I'm almost done. But I think there's one or two approaches I can take to that. I can either go in and kind of be the mopey person that says, oh man, I have to go back to patrol, or I can kind of take a leadership role like you were talking about, Jared, and just kind of almost be like a light, because some of those guys don't know me all that well on patrol because we have so many young officers, and just kind of come in and just take an opportunity to do what you were talking about of, hey, let's take a second and talk to these people and figure out what's going on and try to actually help them and just be that positive role model and just a positive voice, because there's probably not a lot of positivity in the briefing rooms right now.
Thanks for sharing, Cole. Yeah, definitely agree. Compassion and going back to our roots, farming, being in the cannabis industry, we see a lot of hemp farmers, farmers of all different types of crops, honestly, kind of being taken advantage of because of this large scale operations, big city operations. So appreciate you sharing that. let's go ahead and get back over to Cam. Cam, biggest takeaway.
Sorry, there we go. Biggest takeaway for me, no matter how much you think you're focusing on what's important to you, we are all guilty of still taking things for granted on a daily basis. And it's always the things that we nag about or complain about that we don't realize how much they truly mean to us until we're not engaged in them. And like I said about kids, I mean, I love kids, but even on my best days, I come home, I tell my wife, oh my God, like just some of these kids that I don't understand. And first of all, I teach middle schoolers, so a lot of that has to do with hormones, as we all know, whether you have kids of your own that are teenagers or you've been around them. But it's funny, and first of all, before we go any further, it's not the same thing. But Jared, Ryan, and Cole, thank you so much for what you do, because I can't imagine how difficult that is. But very similar to what Ryan was saying about wanting to look at the root problem with people. I do that in the classroom on a daily basis, but my takeaway is doing it now. And I think, and I apologize, I don't remember who said this, but somebody mentioned the people who are freaking out the most right now are also the ones that need the most love. And it's true. And it's the biggest takeaway, I guess, to bring it to a point for me would be keeping in mind what's important, and also to taking a step back and really, without panicking, look at what you do need, not what you want or what you want to stockpile, but what you do need, and taking care of your family and just lining that up. And so that's the biggest thing, is just not blowing it off, but keeping a level head and trying to move forward through this thing.
Yeah, that's good. And that was Miss Courtney, one of her nuggets over there,
Okay.
about the
Thank you.
people acting out needed it the most. And I think that's going to be especially true. And we appreciate you recognizing, Cole and Ryan and their service and stuff, Cam, but don't ever underestimate the impact you have on changing young people's lives. Showing up every day is a huge deal. And same with Courtney. I mean, I think everybody on here impacts people in a different way. And quite honestly, to me, no one is more valuable than the other, because all of us contribute. And when we all do our part is when people really thrive. So, Jill, what's your takeaway from this? You got about 45 seconds.
Okay, the world is small. This came from China. Now look where it is. We're all actually connected. We're not that far apart. 2, wash your hands. 3, sanitize. And 4, much like Courtney, I touch my face a ton. But really, look how small the world is. Like, we're not that separated. One flight brought all of it over to us, one person, maybe more, but we're spread out, but there's a ton of world out there. And to take care of yourself. Jared, you are so humble, and I'm not sure what the lesson is for you, but I don't think it's a lack of you being a humble human being. So once you figure it out, I am curious to find out as well, but it's not because you aren't a fantastic human. So, now you got me crying, damn it.
And you went over your seconds too. You stole some of my time. I think it is one. I think honestly, there's many multitudes, but I think if I could share something with all of you, it's to go through all the emotions, right? Like, none of them are wrong. The uncertainty, the fear, the fuck it, man, I'm the baddest dude in the world, I'll beat this virus by myself, to the wait a second, I have no answers, let me run from that virus, I'm gonna sit in my closet, cry for a little bit. It's all normal, and it's all part of processing something that's never happened before. Like, literally think about this. Like, there's 8 of us on a call from four different states, a couple different time zones, all coming together through computers to talk about a virus that started in a wet market in China and now is impacting the world. I think of what we can do, and realize there's something good that's going to come out of this for all of us. but it takes all of us to step forward and be who we're supposed to be with this, and not to shy away from that responsibility. And yeah, Ryan, you might go on a call and your buddies might make fun of you because you spend an extra 10 minutes letting somebody talk to you about the fact that they just ate their last egg. When your buddies like, dude, let's clear this and get out of here already, right? Like, yeah, you may do things that you don't normally do to give people an opportunity to share, and for you to lead them the way you're supposed to be led, or the way they're supposed to be led. And what I will learn from this, I don't know, but it's definitely humbling. It's so weird that all this started. Quite honestly, I don't want to point blame, but when Ali had a mustache, we didn't have any of this going on. And Ali and I actually talked about, he's like, I think I have to, and we're going to do an episode on this, so this will be like a little teaser, but he needed to shave his mustache because it kind of, Ali, unmute yourself and share with me on this because I know I'm going to get it wrong. We're talking about being humble, right? Like,
Yeah, I felt it was time, and it was interesting. I've recently been experimenting with self-reflection, talking to myself in the mirror, just because journaling doesn't help as much as talking to myself in the mirror does. And long story short, I really just had this calling of really working more on humility and being humble. And as I was talking to myself in the mirror, I asked myself, well, what can I do? What can I do to start being more humble? What's the first step I can take? And my first answer was like, well, you can shave that damn mustache first off. And I was like, all right, well let's go with that. And you know, ironically, more things started happening. So I know part of my lesson, part of my takeaway will be more humility. You know, more compassion. Like Jared was saying, there are no wrong emotions. It's okay to think you're the baddest motherfucker on the planet and you're going to win everything, and to be confident, be bold. That's great. That's not wrong. But for me, moving forward, humility is something that I want to take away, not only from this, but in my journey moving forward. So yeah, it might be the stash to blame. I don't know, Jared.
yeah, well, just remember, nobody's ever seen the stash and the COVID virus in the same room at the same time.
This is true.
Coincidence? Yeah, so I don't know, guys, and I think it's okay to say you don't know, and it's okay to not know, and it's okay to run through it all, man. But here's where it's not okay: is it's not okay for us not to show up for each other. It's not okay for us to abandon one another and to point fingers and to look at that person. Like, we're all going through this differently, and I do know that the On Purpose community is not here by accident. Right? It's not by accident that Ali and I started this almost exactly a year ago, and that we now have such a solid following that we could throw out a call notice on 12 hours notice and get some awesome people to come in and help each other process this. So I thank all of you for being part of our community, and we'll never take for granted the opportunity we have to serve you, and we will always show up. So I want to make sure we open it up with some questions or anything anybody else wants to talk about. We're a little less than an hour into it. So any questions? Anybody got anything else to add, share for the group?
But yeah, I just
Go
want
ahead,
to,
sorry, brother.
if you can, guys, throw in any social media handles that you have for us to stay connected. You know, as leaders in our communities, I think an important piece for each of us to be our best and be doing our best is to let people know what, you know, we're doing, what we have to offer, like we just did on this call. So go ahead and throw tags in, and let's open it up for Q&A, whether to the group or direct.
Let's see what you threw up there, Ryan. You're a financially fit cop. I like that one. Good tag. Cam, you got anything else? Anything else we can help you with, buddy?
Here, there we go.
Yeah.
You know, I think just general accountability. and I look forward to getting to know all of you and having and building a similar relationship. But Ollie has probably been my number one, call him an accountability coach for the last decade almost.
Nice.
And yeah, I'll be honest with you. Ollie was like, "Hey, jump on this call with us at 8." And I was like, "All right, cool." I'm going stir crazy at home. Like, sounds good to me. And I've gotten so much more out of this than I was expecting to. And some really amazing people on here. And honestly, just going forward, support, and anytime y'all do this, please let me know, because it's been incredible to listen to all of you speak, and coming from different backgrounds and different areas of the country, and also kind of boiling down to a lot of the same points is just a lot of it's reassuring, whether it's hopes or fears or things you're doing. This is an awesome thing, and I applaud y'all for what y'all have built, and I look forward to being involved in it more. So yeah, just support and just keep doing what y'all are doing, and I'll certainly be around for it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And do me a favor, man, as a teacher, if you got kids that are in need, or you got any way we could help that community down there, I want you to reach out and make sure that we invest in that next generation as well, any way we can.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Jared. Yeah, anything I come across as far as things can be done, I'll certainly pass this along.
Cool. And just so you guys know, that's my mother-in-law sitting there watching and participating. She was a little quiet tonight, which isn't always the case, but tonight it was. So yeah, there's no greater trust in the world than somebody handing you their daughter for life. So thank you for that, and I'm ready to get her home. Good. We got any other questions or anything else we can do? All right. We'll Cole, you got something?
Yeah, something
Or
just
you
real
just
quick.
scratching your face again?
Yeah, I was trying to scratch my face. No, no, I just have a question. So, like I see a lot of different wrestling clubs or any clubs, right? They're putting out a lot of like, oh, you can do this workout at home, or you can do this, and everyone's already doing that, which I think is good, right? I think that especially for people that are working with young people, give them something to do, gives them a little bit of an outlet or feel like they're doing something. But what's your guys' take on that? I mean, is there, obviously people are on social media probably more than ever at this moment with no one working. Obviously, I think there's an opportunity to send a message to certain people, but is it just the workouts, or is there some sort of balance that we should be taking with that? Any thoughts or ideas on some of that kind of stuff, if that makes sense?
Good, Ollie.
I think this is an opportunity to try to share what you feel is right to share. I don't think that there is a balance of, workout videos or anything. I think this is really a true time to go inward, and whatever Cole truly feels the world could benefit from, put it out there. Like you said, so many people are on social media right now. That's where their attention is. And if you can make a positive impact on just one person, it matters. And you can, with all of your experience. So I would really not even pay attention to what other people are putting out there, and really look inward and put out what you truly feel can benefit at least one person. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think now is the perfect time for people to practice. Courtney probably has a better term for this than what I will come up with, but it's a good time to practice giving with no expectation of a return. I think part of what was wrong with our world is people were giving but always expecting something in return. And now is a perfect time to give just because it's the right thing to do. What would that term be called, Courtney? I'm sure you have something for us.
I don't know if I really have a term for that. But yeah, just to give without concerns for results. You got it. And I think too on that is, right now social media is really blowing up with the negative and the fear. And so the more people that can bring in something positive and kind of shift the focus to something that we can learn and grow and develop in is huge. And for those communities that we have formed already, I'm a yoga teacher too, and so I've got a lot of people ask me, like, will you make Zoom videos and will you still keep your classes coming? And so I think just responding to what's being asked of you and just doing your best to keep your community strong and stay engaged. Even if we can't physically be with each other, we can still be with each other.
Yeah, that was much better said than how I'd said it.
Can I throw my 2 cents in on the workout?
You got about 10 seconds.
Do it. I watched a concert tonight that had 55,000 people all just watching from their living room. Indigo Girls put on a concert in their living room. Total surprise. Awesome hour. If you can be consistent and give people workout videos, they're going to be dying for stuff to do in their house. So give them something they can do and something they can count on, and people will be there. And even if it's 4 or 5 people that train with you, it's still engagement and it's still removing yourself from the current situation. The end.
My little baby sister. She's all grown up on me.
Yeah.
What do you got? Anything else there, Cam or anybody? Ali?
I'm good. I really appreciate everyone hopping on the call. I definitely got something out of this with everybody sharing. I really appreciate you guys being vulnerable and sharing what you're experiencing and your takeaways. I know a common theme was compassion, and I love to hear that. I really appreciate you getting vulnerable, Jared, and Ryan tagging on to that, because for us that aren't first responders, that's a whole different world that you're giving us a glimpse into your world. And just thinking about the stories you share is like, wow, like to think that your day-to-day doesn't really emphasize compassion, and for you to be able to realize that is huge. And I think what you guys are doing, sharing even with us, helps us, may also help us realize too on the other end, like, oh, well, this cop's just being a dick because he's trained to be a dick. He's not trained to really ask me about my emotions and things like that. So I really got a lot out of this call, guys, and I think it's so powerful. Everyone has a story, like Jared's book, Extraordinary People in Ordinary Places. Everyone has an amazing story to share, and I think that if we all just do our part in sharing our truth, like Jared mentioned earlier, that we all have a role, and if we be our best at playing that role, that we're going to make a positive impact, and we're going to return to a better world. So, put my tag in there. Would love to stay in touch, and I think Jared and I will probably be hosting some more of these through this time. So just a lot of gratitude. Really appreciate everyone coming on, sharing their stories and their takeaways. So thank you. That's all I got for tonight.
Man, again, I can't tell you guys enough what it means for all of you to believe in Ali and I and Jill, to show up week after week and to have earned your trust and to continue to serve you. And then I just implore you to go out and look for those that you can lead, and let's step up and be the people we're meant to be. So with that, man, I'll wrap this up. We appreciate all of you, and stay tuned on our social and stuff. We'll probably have another one next week. I'd like to probably do these weekly as we progress through this, because things change so much, and if we need to go more frequently, I think there's a place for us to really unite people together. And thank you guys so much. All right, take care, everybody. Be safe, but wash your hands, no touching your face, 6 feet apart, all that stuff.
Thank
See
you,
everybody.
Jeff. Awesome, man.
You're the man, Ryan. Thanks so much.